And now we're seeing that the US dollar is now becoming the strongest currency. And even though Poland uses its own currency, but we see now that a dollar wins against the euro. So how is it, how does the Polish government manage to manage its budget, especially those that require large amounts of dollars?
Yes, yes. In Poland, we still have Polish zlotys, Polish currency, although we are a member of the European Union, but not decided yet to be part of the euro-dollar system. But of course, Polish zlotys is very much touched with the US dollar and euro dollar values. But Polish government is taking a lot of efforts to save the situation. Public finances of Poland are still in a quite good condition. After first half of 2022, our budget surplus was around 7-8 billion US dollars. So the situation is not bad, yes? The situation is not bad. Although, of course, there is a huge inflation, not only in Poland, but also in other countries, in European countries, in Indonesia, in US, everywhere. But financially, we are talking about the budget. We are quite in a good condition.
Talking about the current issues that has been faced by the whole world is inflation. Yeah. And Poland is now experiencing the highest inflation in more than 20 years, more than 15%. And so how long do you see this high inflation will expected to last?
Yes, unfortunately, there is still around 15–14% of inflation now, and for many years, Poland had no really problem with inflation. As you maybe know, Poland in 1989 we changed our political system, we changed our economic system. So it was very difficult that time with inflation, with the economic situation in Poland. But after the years, after adopting a lot of reforms, fiscal reforms. We started to the real economy based on market, and the inflation was never really problem for us since that time. Now it's as I said, it's actually the challenge, not only for Poland but for other countries. All countries in the world. And if we are talking about inflation, we have to say that there are probably two reasons for that. The COVID pandemic, more than 2 years of breakdown, and of course the second factor is the Russian aggression to Ukraine. This has also affected the inflation, yes, around the world. But if you ask me how long there is expectation, I mean, we think that the inflation in Poland maybe now is probably very high and the highest, especially during summertime. So there are our finance analysts are saying that after the holiday period in Poland, during autumn, winter, the situation could be improved. So so there are analyses that autumn and winter 2022 the situation should improve.
Okay, so it's going to be slowing down.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how do you see that this current inflation be able to become a stumbling block and correct economic target for this year?
I mean, I think inflation is just one factor. Yes, is one factor. If we are talking for the economy as a whole, there are not a lot of factors. Yes, there is export, import, budget. Of course, inflation is very important and has impact for all of this. But I think that if the COVID will be finishing soon, and hopefully the war in Ukraine will end it which is not very obvious because the situation is still very difficult, and there are voices that the war will be continued quite long. Yes, will be not finished soon. But I do believe that that the world will be able to improve the financial situation. Of course, I think that the sanctions for Russia have basic importance. Yes. So this is why Poland is very much advocating for sanctions towards Russia.
Okay, you've said that there's a lot of factors to contribute to the Poland's economic, but we see that the Poland's economic growth has slowly continued to grow positively after the great pressure of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also that Poland is now threatened by a technical recession this year after on the second quarter of this year drops at 2.3% quarterly. And how do you see the prospect of Poland economy in the third quarter and for the rest of this year?
So as I said, our experts, economic financial experts, predict that we will manage our economic situation. Also, due to European Commission statistics, GDP in Poland will increase from 3.7 to 5.2%.
Okay.
So I think the future is quite, it's not so in a black color.
Yeah.
So we should work very hard and to support our economy, to increase our economy. So I think the statistics are not so bad, yes,
okay.
according to our sources.
Okay, still in an optimistic
optimistic approach, always.
Yeah. Okay.
Always.
Okay, but on the other hand, besides that, you've said earlier that Poland government is giving money to its citizens. We also know that maybe for some citizens in this world is now experiencing purchasing power pressure. So how do you see this, and how the government manage this one, and also how the government manage also the maintaining manufacturing sectors, goods and services export during this time?
Oh, there are a lot of programs run by the government which support the industrial sectors, big sectors, but also small and medium enterprises. There are special programs for people who are running companies. Not only that the government is giving money, but also they try to train them. They try to also to create better fiscal policy. And it gives already fruits. Yes, there's a special big project, Polish government project to support industry sector, and especially in a taxation.
Okay, so
Yeah.
by the fiscal and taxation.
Yeah, yes,
okay.
yes.
So the last question for this segment is that besides the challenge that you said earlier, the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the invasion of Russia and Ukraine, we are also now facing natural occurs like the drought in Poland, the summer heat wave in Poland. So how do you, how the government manage this one?
So yes, so thank you for this question, because I have to say it's really so hot and warm in Poland now. I just was in Poland, and it was really difficult, even for me, being from, let's say, I spent the last few years in Indonesia. But it's still so hot. It was
really?
Like 30, 32, 34, 36 temperature. And because we don't really have everywhere air conditions as you have here in your climate, it's really difficult, and in Indonesia it's more humid. In Poland, in Europe probably it's more dry, yes, and the sun is very strong, and it's really difficult when you have such a high temperature. So there are different ways how government is dealing with that, because of course it is also a problem for agriculture sector. And for many others with such a weather. So there is, but we have a very good system with retention reservoirs. So we have like artificial lakes, special system of rivers, and so we are accommodating water. So we are already prepared for that as well. Yes, so we have a good system with the retention reservoirs in Poland. But also, of course, if we are talking about ordinary people and dealing with this new waves of hot weather, so of course the government is working people, and there are a lot of advertisements for people not to drink a lot of water. If there is a really hot weather, not to go out, to try to stay at home. So there's a lot of warnings, and to help people, especially it is important for children, for elderly people. Yes, this weather is quite difficult. Yes, but as I know, next week should be better in Poland. I mean, better, 25 centigrade.
Okay. We all know that we are moving our capital city to East Kalimantan, called Nusantara. So or maybe Poland, how is Poland interested in this project?
Oh, we are observing carefully the idea of moving of capital, and of course we see many opportunities also for our Polish companies, especially in the infrastructure sector, and as I mentioned, railway, maybe electric buses.